What if becoming rich was not luck, but a science? Written over 100 years ago, this book has influenced generations of entrepreneurs and success thinkers around the world. Discover the powerful principles behind wealth and success in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, full audiobook.
Chapter 1. The Right to be Rich. Whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No man can rise to his greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, he must have many things to use, and he cannot have these things unless he has money to buy them with. Man develops in mind, soul, and body by making use of things, and society is so organized that man must have money in order to become the possessor of things. Therefore, the basis of all advancement for man must be the science of getting rich. The object of all life is development, and everything that lives has an inalienable right to all the development it is capable of attaining. Man's right to life means his right to have the free and unrestricted use of all the things which may be necessary to his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment. Or, in other words, his right to be rich. In this book, I shall not speak of riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. No man ought to be satisfied with a little if he is capable of using and enjoying more. Purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, and every man should have all that can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less is sinful. The man who owns all he wants for the living of all the life he is capable of living is rich, and no man who has not plenty of money can have all he wants. Life has advanced so far and become so complex that even the most ordinary man or woman requires a great amount of wealth in order to live in a manner that even approaches completeness. Every person naturally wants to become all that he is capable of becoming. This desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent in human nature. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. You can become what you want to be only by making use of things, and you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. To understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. There is nothing wrong in wanting to get rich. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life, and that desire is praiseworthy. There are three motives for which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you neglect this study, you are neglecting your duty to yourself, to God, and to humanity. Chapter 2. There is a science of getting rich. There is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science, like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches. Once these laws are learned and obeyed by any person, he or she will get rich with mathematical certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in this certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, get rich. Those who do not do things in this certain way, no matter how hard they work or how capable they are, remain poor. It is a natural law that like causes always produce like effects. Therefore, any person who learns to do things in this certain way will inevitably get rich. Getting rich is not a matter of environment. If it were, all the people in certain neighborhoods would become wealthy. The people of one city would all be rich, while those of other towns would all be poor. But everywhere we see rich and poor living side by side, often engaged in the same occupations. When two people are in the same locality and in the same business, and one becomes rich while the other remains poor, it shows that getting rich is not primarily a matter of environment. Some environments may be more favorable than others, but when two people in the same business are in the same neighborhood and one becomes rich while the other fails, it indicates that getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way. The ability to do things in this certain way is not due solely to talent. Many people with great talent remain poor, while others with very little talent become rich. When we study people who have become rich, we find that they are often average in many respects. They do not possess abilities that others do not have. What distinguishes them is that they happen to do things in a certain way. Getting rich is not the result of saving or extreme thrift. Many people who save carefully remain poor, while others who spend freely become wealthy. Nor is getting rich due to doing things that others fail to do. Two people in the same business often do almost exactly the same things, yet one becomes rich while the other becomes poor. From these facts, we must conclude that getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way. If getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way, and if like causes always produce like effects, then any person who can do things in that way can become rich. The entire matter therefore becomes an exact science. It may be asked whether this certain way is so difficult that only a few people can follow it. This cannot be true. Talented people become rich, and simple people become rich. Highly educated people become rich, and people with very little education also become rich. Any person who has enough ability to read and understand these words can certainly become rich. Getting rich also depends somewhat on location, because business must involve dealing with people. But location is not the determining factor. If anyone else in your town can become rich, you can also become rich. If anyone else in your state can become rich, you can do the same. Getting rich does not depend on choosing a particular profession. People become rich in every type of business and every profession, while others in the same work remain poor. What matters most is learning to do things in the certain way that leads to success. Chapter 3. Is opportunity monopolized? No person is kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from them or because other people have monopolized wealth. You may be shut off from engaging in certain kinds of business, but there are always other channels open to you. For example, it might be difficult for you to gain control of a large railroad system because that field is already dominated by powerful interests. However, new industries are constantly developing and creating fresh opportunities. Electric transportation, for instance, began as a new field and opened great possibilities for those who entered it early. In the same way, entirely new industries will continue to emerge as society advances. Instead of competing with powerful corporations in industries that are already controlled, it is wiser to look toward the new opportunities that are constantly appearing. It is true that if you are working for a large company, you may feel that your chances of owning that company are very small. But if you begin to act in the certain way described in this book, you can soon move into new opportunities. Many people have left employment and become independent producers by starting small businesses or working with land and resources that were previously ignored. Throughout history, opportunities have constantly shifted according to the needs of society. At different times, opportunity flows in different directions. Those who succeed are usually the people who move with the current of opportunity rather than struggling against it. There is no shortage of wealth in the world. Nature is not poor. The resources of the earth are abundant and capable of producing far more than humanity currently uses. The visible supply of material things is enormous, and the underlying source from which all things are created is limitless. Everything in the universe comes from a single original substance. New forms are constantly being created from this substance, while old forms dissolve and return to it. Because of this, there can never truly be a shortage of wealth. The universe is constantly producing more. Chapter 4. The first principle in the science of getting rich. Thought is the only power that can produce tangible riches from the formless substance from which all things are made. The original substance from which everything is formed is a thinking substance. A thought held in this substance produces the form of that thought. Every form and process we see in nature is the result of thought in this original substance. As this substance thinks of a form, it moves toward creating that form. This principle applies to everything that exists. Human beings are thinking centers capable of forming original thoughts. Before any physical object is created, it must first exist as a thought. Everything that humans build or invent begins as an idea in the mind. If a person can hold a clear mental image of something they desire and impress that thought upon the thinking substance of the universe, the forces of creation will begin to move toward bringing that thing into existence. This is the first fundamental principle in the science of getting rich. To summarize this principle, there is a thinking substance from which all things are made. This substance permeates the entire universe. A thought held in this substance produces the form of that thought. Human beings are capable of forming thoughts and impressing those thoughts upon the original substance. In this way, a person can cause the creation of the things they think about. This idea can be supported both by reasoning and by experience. When we reason from the phenomena of form and thought, we arrive at the conclusion that there must be an original thinking substance from which everything proceeds. And when we reason forward from this thinking substance, we discover that human beings have the power to cause the creation of the things they think about. If one person who reads this book becomes rich by doing exactly what it teaches, that is evidence supporting the theory. But if every person who follows the instructions in this book becomes rich, then the theory becomes positive proof until someone tries it completely and fails. The process will not fail. Every person who does exactly what this book tells them to do will get rich. People become rich by doing things in a certain way. In order to do this, they must learn to think in a certain way. A person's actions are the direct result of the way they think about things. Chapter 5. Increasing Life. You must completely remove the old idea that there is a divine power that wants you to remain poor. The intelligent substance which fills the universe is a living substance, and it has the natural desire for life to increase itself. Every living thing naturally seeks to expand and grow. A seed placed in the ground grows and produces many more seeds. Life always multiplies itself. Human intelligence operates under the same principle. Every thought we think leads us to think another thought. Knowledge constantly expands. Every ability we develop creates the desire to develop another ability. In order to know more, do more, and become more, we must have more resources available to us. We learn, act, and grow through the use of things. Because of this, it is necessary for us to become rich so that we can live more fully. The desire for wealth is not wrong. It is simply the desire for a larger life-seeking expression. The same force that causes plants to grow is the force that causes human beings to desire improvement and prosperity. The living substance of the universe wants to express more life through you. Therefore, it naturally wants you to have the things that allow you to live more fully. Chapter 6. How Riches Come to You. When I say that you do not need to drive hard bargains, I do not mean that you will not deal with other people in business. I mean that you will not need to deal unfairly with anyone. You will not need to get something for nothing. Instead, you can give every person more in value than you receive from them. You may not be able to give more in monetary value, but you can always give more in use value. For example, the materials used to produce this book may not be worth the price you paid for it. But if the ideas in this book help you create wealth and improve your life, then the value you received is far greater than the money you spent. When you rise above the competitive mindset and move into the creative mindset, you will examine your business actions more carefully. If you are selling something that does not add value to the life of the person who buys it, you should stop doing it. You do not need to defeat anyone in business in order to succeed. Give every person more value than the price they pay, and you will contribute to the progress of the world with every transaction you make. Because the wealth you desire will be created through the forces of the universe working through people, you must understand that your riches will usually come through normal channels of human activity. When you desire something, you must hold the mental image of that thing with absolute faith that it is already on its way to you. Do not think or speak of it as something uncertain. Think of it as something that is surely coming. Imagine that the thing you want already belongs to you. The forces of the universe work through human minds and actions. Because of this, the things you desire will usually come through normal channels of business and interaction with other people. If you remain faithful to your vision, circumstances and opportunities will arise that allow you to receive what you have imagined. Chapter 7. Gratitude. The first step toward getting rich is to communicate your desires clearly to the formless substance. In order to do this successfully, you must place yourself in a harmonious relationship with the creative intelligence of the universe. The easiest way to establish this harmony is through gratitude. Gratitude connects your mind with the source of all wealth. When you live in a constant state of thankfulness for the good things in your life, you naturally move closer to the source of those good things. The more grateful you become, the more aware you are of the abundance around you. Gratitude helps your mind remain focused on possibilities rather than limitations. When your attention stays fixed on abundance, you remain in harmony with the creative forces of the universe. This harmony strengthens your faith. Faith grows naturally from gratitude, because a grateful mind expects good things to happen. Every expression of sincere gratitude strengthens your connection with the creative power that produces prosperity. Chapter 8. Thinking in the certain way. You must form a clear mental picture of what you want. A vague desire for wealth is not enough. You must know exactly what you want to become, what you want to have, and what you want to do. Just as a ship needs a destination to navigate toward, your mind must have a clear picture of your goal. Hold this image constantly in your thoughts. Spend time imagining the details of the life you desire. Picture yourself living in the environment you want, using the things you want, and experiencing the success you desire. Do not allow your vision to fade. Behind your vision must be a strong purpose to bring it into reality, and behind that purpose must be unwavering faith that what you imagine is already becoming real. Faith and purpose give power to your imagination. Chapter 9. How to use the will. To become rich in a scientific way, you do not try to control other people with your will. Using mental force to influence others is wrong and unnecessary. The only proper use of willpower is to control yourself. Use your will to keep your thoughts focused in the right direction. Use it to keep yourself acting in harmony with the vision you have created. Your willpower should guide your own actions, not attempt to dominate the actions of others. Your willpower is not meant to control people or circumstances. Its purpose is to keep your mind focused on the vision you have chosen. Many people lose their creative power because they allow their thoughts to drift toward doubt, fear, and negative expectations. Your will must be used to guide your attention. If you want to become rich, you must refuse to focus on poverty. Do not study poverty, speak about poverty, or think about poverty. Thinking about poverty creates more poverty. Instead, fix your mind firmly on abundance. Direct your attention toward prosperity, success, and opportunity. Use your willpower to prevent your mind from dwelling on anything that contradicts your vision. This is one of the most important disciplines in the science of getting rich. If you allow your mind to become filled with fear or worry, you interrupt the creative process. Doubt creates negative impressions in the thinking substance of the universe. Every moment spent worrying about failure weakens the power of your vision. But when you hold your vision with confidence and faith, you strengthen the forces that are bringing your desires into reality. Because of this, it is extremely important to guard your thoughts. You must decide what you allow your mind to think about. This is where willpower becomes essential. Use your will to keep your attention directed toward the image of the life you want to create. Chapter 10. Further use of the will. You cannot maintain a clear vision of wealth if you constantly allow your attention to wander toward opposing ideas. Do not speak about your past financial struggles. Do not dwell on the poverty you may have experienced earlier in life. When you talk about these things, you mentally place yourself among the poor. Instead, leave the past behind completely. Focus only on the future you are creating. If you have accepted the idea that the universe supports your growth and prosperity, then it is pointless to entertain ideas that contradict this belief. Protect your vision and your faith from conflicting thoughts. The world is constantly evolving and moving toward greater possibilities. Even when circumstances appear difficult, they are part of a process of growth and transformation. If you want to help improve the world, the best way to do it is by improving yourself. By becoming successful and prosperous through creative thinking, you demonstrate to others what is possible. Your success inspires others to seek their own advancement. Because of this, focusing on your own growth is not selfish. In fact, it is one of the most powerful ways you can contribute to the progress of society. Chapter 11. Acting in the certain way. Thought is the creative force that begins the process of building wealth. However, thought alone is not enough. You must also take action. Many people fail because they believe that simply thinking about success will automatically bring it to them. But the creative process works through both thought and action. Your thoughts set the creative forces of the universe in motion. Your actions allow you to receive the results that those forces bring to you. You must act now. There is never any time except the present moment. You cannot act in the past, and you cannot act in the future. All effective action happens now. Even if you feel that your current job or environment is not ideal, begin acting in the certain way where you are. Use your present circumstances as the starting point for creating something better. Your vision will guide you toward new opportunities, but you must continue taking action in your current environment while those opportunities develop. Do not wait for a perfect opportunity before you begin to act. Waiting for ideal conditions often leads to endless delay. Instead, start acting in the certain way within your present environment. Whatever your work may be, perform it with the best ability you possess. Your vision of the future will guide you toward better opportunities, but your actions today create the path that leads to them. You must act with confidence that your current efforts are part of a greater process. When you hold your vision with faith and combine it with effective action, the creative forces of the universe will begin to organize circumstances in your favor. People, events, and opportunities will gradually move into alignment with the image you hold in your mind. This movement begins only when you take action where you are. Your present work becomes the bridge between your current circumstances and the life you desire. Chapter 12. Efficient Action. You must do more than simply perform your daily work. You must perform each task in the most effective way possible. The world advances through the efforts of those who exceed the expectations of their present position. Anyone who leaves part of their work undone limits their own progress. If every day becomes a successful day, your progress toward wealth becomes inevitable. Even the smallest action may influence events in ways you cannot see. For this reason, it is important to complete every task with attention, care, and determination. Every efficient action strengthens your position and creates opportunities for further advancement. Success grows through the accumulation of successful actions. Efficiency does not mean rushing or exhausting yourself through constant activity. Success is not determined by how many tasks you perform, but by how well you perform each one. A single efficient action is far more powerful than many careless or ineffective actions. When you focus your full attention on each task and perform it with confidence and purpose, your actions gain strength. This strength attracts new opportunities and encourages others to trust your abilities. As your actions become more effective, your influence increases. This process continues until your progress becomes impossible to ignore. Each successful act becomes the foundation for greater success. Chapter 13. Getting into the right business. Success in any field depends partly on possessing the abilities required for that work. However, talent alone does not guarantee wealth. Many highly talented people remain poor, while others with ordinary abilities become wealthy. The difference lies in the way they use their abilities. Your skills are tools, and tools must be used correctly to produce valuable results. Even the best tools cannot create success if they are used without knowledge or purpose. When you apply your abilities with clear vision and consistent effort, they become powerful instruments of progress. By developing your talents and directing them toward meaningful goals, you increase your capacity to create wealth. It is generally easier to succeed in work that matches your natural strengths. However, no person is limited to the talents they were born with. New abilities can be developed through practice, experience, and determination. If you have a strong desire to pursue a particular kind of work, that desire usually indicates that you possess the potential to succeed in it. Desire is often the first sign of hidden ability seeking expression. By developing your talents and applying them in the certain way, you can gradually move toward the type of work that brings you the greatest satisfaction. Your present work may simply be a stepping stone toward your ideal occupation. If you feel that you are not in the right occupation, do not become discouraged. Many people begin their journey toward success in circumstances that are far from ideal. Your current work may not be the work you truly wish to do, but it can still serve an important purpose. It can provide experience, discipline, and the resources needed to move toward a better opportunity. The important thing is to continue acting in the certain way. Perform your present duties with care, efficiency, and determination. At the same time, keep the vision of your ideal work clearly in your mind. See yourself already engaged in the activity you truly desire. As you continue to act with faith and purpose, opportunities will appear that allow you to move closer to that vision. Your present position becomes the foundation from which you build your future success. Chapter 14. The Impression of Increase. In all your dealings with other people, your central idea must be the idea of increase. Every person you meet is seeking improvement in some form. People desire more knowledge, better conditions, greater comfort, and a fuller experience of life. This desire for improvement exists within every human being. Because of this, people are naturally attracted to those who help them move forward. When you interact with others, Whether in business or in everyday life, your actions should communicate the feeling that progress and improvement are possible. Let people feel that contact with you brings them greater opportunity and greater possibility. This impression of increase creates trust and attracts cooperation. Whenever you provide value to others, make sure that the benefit they receive from the interaction is greater than the price they pay. Even in small transactions, focus on giving more value than you take. When people feel that they gain real benefit from dealing with you, they will naturally seek your services again. They will also recommend you to others. This principle applies not only to business, but to personal relationships as well. When your presence inspires confidence, encouragement, and possibility, people begin to associate you with progress and growth. Over time, this reputation becomes one of your greatest assets. Opportunities multiply for those who consistently give value and create improvement in the lives of others. Chapter 15. The Advancing Person. What has been said about business success applies equally to people in every profession. Doctors, teachers, engineers, artists, and workers of every kind can achieve prosperity by following the principles described in this book. The key is to combine clear vision, strong purpose, gratitude, and effective action. When a person consistently acts with the intention of improving their abilities and increasing the value they offer to others, advancement becomes inevitable. People who demonstrate competence, integrity, and enthusiasm attract recognition and opportunity. Their influence grows because others trust their ability to contribute to progress. The advancing person is someone who constantly seeks improvement in knowledge, skill, and character. When you continue to act in a certain way, opportunities for advancement appear naturally. If growth is not possible in your present position, you will soon discover a path toward a better one. Your determination, combined with faith in your vision, begins to influence the circumstances around you. New possibilities emerge because your mindset and actions prepare you to recognize and seize them. The person who consistently acts with purpose and confidence becomes a powerful force for progress. Such a person cannot remain unnoticed for long. Whether in business, employment, or creative work, advancement eventually follows those who demonstrate the qualities of vision, dedication, and effective action. Chapter 16. Some Cautions and Observations. Many people doubt that there can be a scientific method for achieving prosperity. They believe that wealth is limited and that only a small number of people can succeed. However, this belief is based on the assumption that resources are scarce. In reality, the creative forces of the universe continually produce new opportunities, new technologies, and new forms of wealth. History shows that prosperity expands whenever people learn to think and act in more effective ways. When individuals adopt a mindset of creativity and growth, they rise above limitations that once seemed permanent. Their success demonstrates that opportunity is not fixed, but constantly evolving. Do not waste energy worrying about possible obstacles or future difficulties. When challenges appear, deal with them at that moment with calm determination. Fear and doubt weaken the creative process. Confidence and gratitude strengthen it. Maintain the habit of thinking in terms of progress and possibility. Speak about your plans and your circumstances in ways that reflect optimism and belief in improvement. By guarding your thoughts and words, you protect the momentum of your vision. The more consistently you maintain this attitude, the more rapidly circumstances begin to align with your goals. Chapter 17. Summary of the Science of Getting Rich. There exists a thinking substance from which all things are made. This substance fills the universe and responds to the thoughts impressed upon it. When a person forms a clear mental image of what they desire and holds that image with faith and gratitude, the creative forces of the universe begin to move toward its realization. Thought initiates the process of creation, but action allows the results to appear in physical form. By combining vision, belief, gratitude, and effective action, anyone can begin the process of building prosperity. Success comes to those who maintain their vision, act consistently, and continue giving value to others. In order to create the life you desire, you must move from a competitive mindset to a creative mindset. The competitive mindset assumes that wealth is limited and must be taken from others. The creative mindset understands that wealth can be generated through new ideas, new actions, and new combinations of effort and intelligence. When you hold a clear vision of what you want and maintain faith that it is possible, you begin to align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. These forces operate through the ordinary channels of human activity. Your opportunities will come through business, employment, cooperation with other people, and the natural development of circumstances. Remain focused on your vision and act with confidence. Your actions will open the pathways through which prosperity can reach you. Gratitude plays an essential role in this process. When you are grateful for the opportunities and resources already present in your life, you strengthen your connection with the creative intelligence of the universe. Gratitude keeps your mind focused on abundance rather than limitation. It prevents you from falling into the habit of doubt, fear, or discouragement. The more sincerely you appreciate the progress you are making, the stronger your faith becomes. This faith supports your vision and gives power to your actions. Every expression of gratitude reinforces the creative process and helps maintain harmony between your thoughts and the forces that bring your vision into reality. Continue to hold your mental image of the life you want to create. Act each day with purpose and confidence. Perform every task with care, efficiency, and the intention to bring greater value into the world. When you consistently follow these principles, progress becomes inevitable. Your circumstances will gradually improve as your vision and your actions move into alignment. Remember that prosperity is not the result of luck or competition. It is the result of understanding and applying the laws of creative thought and effective action. Anyone who practices these principles with persistence, clarity, and gratitude can begin to transform their life and create lasting success.